you do, Wesley?
Yeah, it's supposed to be the power button.
The power button.
No.
Dude, we did not forget the first
We are
power
pilots. We're not technology experts, okay? Next slide. Congratulations for passing a check ride. Big whoop. Should we do the brain rot? 5 big booms? No, we're not gonna do that. No brain rot, no brain rot. But congrats on passing a check ride. You made it. Real quick, tell us what it was like. What was the check ride like?
So actually, my name's Christina.
But you go back. Okay, I was going by your Discord name.
Discord.
Okay. It's fine. Christina.
It was pretty good. I had Kyle Pack as my DPE. If any of you guys have him or had him, he's extremely chill. Does the absolute minimum.
Ooh, like it.
Kind of just asked you one question that covers like 6 parts of the ACS.
Oh, great.
So our oral portion was so quick, I was surprised.
Yeah,
I was
and
expecting
then
so much more.
I learned from the Discord message that you got some help.
He did a mock roll with me.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. Thank you for doing that.
So many
nailed
mock
it.
rolls with me.
That is very great. But I think since we've started, we've had you, and then we've had Wesley. You passed your private pilot check ride over the summer before this fall semester. So that's 2 private pilot check rides that we've passed within our first year of operation. I think that's pretty good. We can go to the next slide. Just in case anybody doesn't have it, we'll stay in this slide for a little bit. We have our Instagram, YouTube, and our Discord on there. Instagram, that's probably how most people find out about this event. The YouTube has some videos on there, including this one. It'll be uploaded there as well. And then the Discord is also pretty self-explanatory. Today's agenda, let's talk about what the goal is. We'll take our attendance. We'll talk about that little event that happened in Washington, D.C. We feel like it'd be appropriate to talk about it as opposed to just ignore it. We'll be talking about the officers, because we've had some new officers join the Pegasus Pilots Executive Board. We'll talk about some updates about our organization. We haven't seen each other in a minute. There's also some new faces here. I think it's fair to catch everybody up to speed. We'll talk about some workshop facility tours we're trying to arrange for this semester. Talk about air show plans, because who doesn't love air shows, right? Getting wasted while your tax dollars are blasted on your face by an F-18. Come on, who doesn't want that? Yeah, and then we're going to be talking about club dues for this semester. We finally got a hold of that because we are ready to actually offer stuff. It's not fair to charge you a due without offering you something, so we're trying to work towards that as well. We're also going to talk about the semester roadmap that we have. Believe it or not, some people are supposed to be graduating this semester, which is kind of weird. Gabby, you know who that might be? You're one of them. You're one of them. Oh, look, another hand. So we got some people graduating this semester. We'll talk about that just a little bit. We're going to talk about merchandise. This is a concept design that the officers were trialing out first, and then we're going to try to get that available to you guys. We're also going to talk about our plan for that as we continue on. It's been over a year since we've been an official organization, so we got some cake as a surprise, because if you put up like free food, like a lot of people will come. We want the people who want to be here to get the cake, okay? So we thought that was fair. So we got some cake, and then we're going to transition to our guest speaker as we serve said cake. So we'll go to the next slide. We're going to be doing our Meet the Officers presentation now for whoever was able to make it. We're going to first talk about our faculty advisor. This, in case you guys were at our last prior meetings, he's way more happier in this picture, which I love. That's Dr. Florian Jensch, our faculty advisor, chair of the psychology department, which is not what most people expect. But given that he is someone who's done research work with the FAA since the 1990s, former commercial pilot, licensed, not for a career, commercially licensed pilot, aeronautical science, aerospace engineering, all that kind of stuff. Smart guy, in case you don't know. So we're very lucky that he's our faculty advisor. He isn't able to make it to this presentation because his older son is getting married. So he can't make it today, but he sends his best wishes to you all, and we anticipate some future activities because of him. All right, this is definitely not a typo by our media director who added an extra R to my last name. Okay, so here's the deal. We had like 3 typos, so if you guys saw the Instagram post go up and come back down, that was why. I really don't care about my last name being pronounced correctly. I really don't. So I just said we'll leave it up, and I made a couple corrections to myself. But I'm Andrew. I'm the president, in case you guys haven't met me. We can go to the next slide. Gentlemen, if you'd like to come on up, please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Brandon. Foot is a funny last name, so you can call me Foot. I know it says aerospace engineering. I'm not doing aerospace engineering, so don't worry about that. I switched to criminal justice. I'm actually pursuing the Air Force ROTC path, so I'm going through that military route in order to become a pilot that way. And criminal justice gave me more time to do that, so that's me.
Fair. All righty.
I'm Max Sarek. I'm your treasurer, so I'm
responsible for collecting your money. Other than that, I'm a mechanical engineer in my sophomore year, and that's about it.
What's up, guys? I'm your secretary. I'm in my junior year. I am majoring in electrical engineering, and I am in the process of obtaining my PPL.
Josh is not here, but if you ever see someone that's spewing a brain rot, it's typically Josh. He's the guy that does the media director stuff. We joke about him, but he's a very talented fellow, political science major. Poor guy. Political science major, and he is also working on something called an SI, which is a special issuance medical. So we have a couple folks that'll come up to us saying, hey, you know, God forbid I act like a human and I had a mental health episode or something happened, or I got diagnosed with ADHD or one of the other very many conditions that the FAA says isn't allowable to fly, and I need something to kind of get me towards my first class medical. Josh can actually give you guys some experience because he's going through that, so that's Josh. We'll leave it at that. Let's go to the next one, please.
What's up, everyone? I'm Jovan. As you guys see, I'm going to major in environmental science. I want to fly for NOAA. I'm in the process of doing my PPL, and I'm the outreach director. So, like, if you guys saw any posters around campus, that was me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By a show of hands, how many people did see posters on campus? I'm curious. A couple hands going up. Okay, good. Yeah, we saw a lot of them. Thank you, Jovan.
I'm Wesley. I'm the event director. I joined last semester. I'm sure everyone that was here last semester remembers how there was a lot of problems getting room reservations. So I joined and helped take care of all that.
Thank you, Wesley.
I studied mechanical engineering, and I want to go into motorsport, and I like aviation as a hobby. So.
All right, Lance is also not here, but he is one of the people that we put on this semester, and we'll be talking about that as something we're going to be putting on in addition to our regular scheduled general body meetings. Lance actually approached me because he wasn't an officer, but he said, hey, I've been kind of watching from the sidelines for a bit. I caught a couple suggestions for you to make the club more useful, right? There's no point in sitting and getting death by PowerPoint every month or so. Like, that's great and all. I know you guys love to see my face, but it'd be nice to actually do something, you know, useful. So putting on workshops, which we will detail later in the presentation, would be helpful, is what he told me. So that's what Lance does. Again, he isn't here, but he's here with us in spirit. Thanks, Lance.
All right, hi, I'm Gabrielle, long for Gabby. I'm majoring in environmental science as well, and I am the auxiliary director, meaning I'm pretty much just a helping hand in whatever aspect of this organization needs it. And I'm interested in flying. I'm currently working on my PPL, so we'll see how that goes.
Very reassuring, Gabby. Thank you. And then, you know, we talked about that mid-air collision that happened back in, I think it was not even a week ago back in DC. You guys saw our post that went up about it. That was the first major incident that's happened in commercial aviation. For marking Colgan Air 34-7, it was over a decade. And for mid-air collision, I think the last one was back in the 90s. That was a while ago. But things can still happen. Things can still go wrong. At our prior workshops and presentations, I always made it clear that the flying business is dangerous as much as our safety record is great as is. And if it doesn't kill you once, it'll kill you twice and make sure you're dead. And it requires nothing but absolute precision. And that's why we have checklists. We have so many layers that go into our flight training to make sure we don't die. And we actually follow procedure properly. So we don't know what happened with this event. We're not going to comment on that. We're going to wait till the actual proper investigation comes out. But I've also had some people approach me before asking me, like, hey, I'm a college kid. I'm thinking about doing this, but these types of things, they make me question, is going into flying worth it? Is this something that I want to do? Some of you guys are doing this for a career. Some of you guys are doing this for a hobby. And it's a valid question to ask because last time I checked, most of us don't want to die yet. So let's not do that. So it's a valid question. If I could share, 2 cents that I have, found as an answer, because about, I think maybe 2 years ago, when I was doing my instrument flight training in Lakeland, the flight school I was at had a mid-air collision. And the flight instructor that I flew with every now and then, she died, and then a student that I knew in passing also died. So this isn't exactly my first brush with tragedy, so to speak. I'm not going to act like I knew these people super closely, but it still gets in your head. And it's something you got to think about. And the only thing that I can really say to that, for those of you who are asking that question, is that, well, what makes you feel alive? To me, I'd rather be doing this, and if I had to hypothetically pick my life outcome, I'd much rather be a pilot. Something happens and I die at 30 to be stuck in a cubicle and die in 80. You know what I mean? I'd rather do that. That's just me. Everyone's got their own answer. If for whatever reason you decide to step away from it, perfectly understandable. but a lot of people have been coming up and asking these types of questions, so I figured we'd at least address the elephant in the room. Again, we're not going to make any more comments until the NTSB properly states what happened. So we'll leave it at that, and we'll move on to the rest of our presentation. Whoa, a QR code. What does that mean? It means whip out your phone and put your camera on that. We're going to be doing our attendance code really quickly. We're trying to make it not painful for you guys, so it should just require your, may I see, just to make sure I'm getting it right, it should just be your name, UCF email, and phone number. Wow, super, super simple. Cool. Okay. Everyone got the attendance code? You guys over there? Yeah. All right, cool. I'll take that as a yes.
I'm just gonna give him a second.
Yeah. I'm going to wait till everyone's heads are looking up, and that'll be good enough. Okay, looks like everybody mostly is good. Everyone got it. No one's like trying to get the code and it's not working. None of that awkward stuff. Okay, cool. We'll take it. So again, it's been 1 year of Pegasus Pilots, which is crazy to say. I think that's something commendable. We've made it. It's been a year. I like that. We were officially approved on January 29th. If you're wondering what explains the radio silence for that, well, the biggest tragedy in aviation happened just before the day of. So that didn't feel appropriate. So we're like, you know what, we'll worry about that later. But you know, January 30th is when we were approved at UCF officially. Even though we started efforts before to get Pegasus Pilots off the ground, pun intended, you know, that was our date of being official. And since then, I gotta say, it's been quite a ride. We've had a couple outreach presentations, got to meet a lot of people. We've had 2 check ride passes, which we talked about. We had a Top Gun GBM, that was like our biggest by far. I mean, we were taking the picture and we were like, guys, we can't fit everyone into the frame, which is kind of a cool moment. So that was awesome for those of y'all who made it, and for those of you who didn't, we should have that recording up hopefully soon. Again, we've been busy. And then Dr. Phillips' panel event, we got to reach out to some high schoolers at some event put on by UCF. We did a couple socials, and then we have, I talked about last semester putting on like a private pilot ground school accessible to members of Pegasus Pilots, and we are working with that as best as we can, and we have some more updates for that. But right now, this semester, we got 3 folks going through it. Gabby's one of them. I don't know if Quinn is here. No?
No, I didn't see him.
No? And then you were in it. So we got 2 of the people here. And then back in my hometown, hey, where did Cole and restroom? Okay. Well, I was going to give a shout out to my old buddies, but I have 3 friends here from my high school that are just here to support me because they love me so much. But basically, back in my high school, I did the exact same thing, started an aviation club, and I ran it. I reached out to people on a one-on-one basis to get them into the ground school as best as I could. When I had absolutely no one else to go to, I sent the president from the aviation club at Lake Mineola to go take the ground school because he wants to be a pilot really badly. So I sent him to that. So I sent 4 people to it. We're opening that up even more as we go into the fall semester and beyond. But this is our trial run for making that happen. So that's kind of what we've been up to. Go to the next slide. Cool. Let's talk about some updates. Okay, so we already kind of talked about that. We know that 3 people are going to the ground school. Shirts and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that kind of stuff. So we got shirts coming in. Here's the deal. We're going to talk about dues later on. As far as your dues are concerned, to make this clear, what our plans are for this semester is that with dues, we are planning to have that inclusive with your dues. So there's no paying your dues and it comes separately. We're trying to get that, you know, so that it's somewhat fair. Okay, we don't want to charge something that's unreasonably high, but we need money. We can't just be letting things go for free, you know, so that's the other deal. Workshops and facility tour, that's going to be exciting. We're going to talk about that. Lance, again, I'll be speaking on his behalf about what the plans are for the workshops. And then I'm currently working to get a facility tour set up for us at the Daytona Airport. I'm talking to a guy who can get us into the control tower and into the entire airport. Ryan, you smiling? Look at him. Look at him. He's smiling. He's smiling in Daytona. That's right. But we're trying to get that facility tour in there so you guys can actually travel there and check out the airport. So we want to get you guys to touch some planes, to see an airport. That's great, right? We can't do everything in the classroom. So we'll do that, and then we have a little update with the flight school partnership stuff. We'll talk about that. Let's go to the next slide. Hey, what's up, man? All right, workshop update. Let's talk about that. So the whole point of trying to go through these workshops is we're trying to expand what we can offer to you guys. Again, sitting here and listening to me talk, it's fine, but it's not the best option for you. So the better option, we could say, is giving you guys a chance to go out and do some workshops. So we kind of dipped our toes in the water on that. We did like an air crash investigation type workshop, and we can hopefully expand beyond that. Lance is going to be the person who is a workshop director, so he's going to actually spearhead that effort. So that's what the idea is with putting all of these on. Number one, that's a way to incorporate some hands-on stuff, so you get to touch some instruments. We actually do have some flight instruments. We're planning to get some more stuff so you guys can work with it. Furthermore, we think it's a great way that as an individual, if you want to get a little bit further into your niche, or a little bit further into what you want to do, this is a way to do it. So if you're someone like Lance, who he himself wants to be an astronaut, and he wants to kind of go into like the aerospace stuff. Astronauts do have to go through some pilot training, right? For him, that would be fantastic, because he has to go through that kind of stuff. He gets a little bit closer towards his specific niche, and in doing so, you're likely going to be the person who's making those arrangements with whatever it might be. So if you have to reach out to somebody at NASA, oh yeah, I'm the guy that runs the, space thingy at Pegasus Pilots. I do the workshops. That's a little bit of an in for you. So I want to make sure that we're making it clear that we're not just making you our slave. There has to be a benefit for you. We know that. We're not that dumb. So we're also trying to make that clear. So for this semester, we're thinking of doing something, our next workshop, which we have outlined in the presentation, we're thinking for the first one to be kind of like an intro to aviation in the sense of actually getting you somewhere. So something that might seem as simple as setting up, what is it called, MedExpress or something like that, your FAA MedExpress to get your medical, and getting IACRA set up. If there's something we know about the government, it's that government paperwork and all that kind of stuff isn't so fun, it isn't so efficient, so might as well sit down, grind it out, and also clear out some questions about the process of getting started into flying and doing your flight training. So that being said, we're also going to try to go for an intro to plane spotting thing. Andrea, I see you. Ryan, I see you too. Those are our plane spotting people. I haven't talked to you about it, but we can talk to you about it too. We've kind of talked lightly about putting on some type of a workshop for plane spotting. And hopefully, if we could also transition that to a plane spotting social and not get the airport police to kick us out. But we'll cross the bridge when we get there. That's fine. Next slide, please. These are some of the topics that they have listed. I trust that with you being in this room, you can read. So I'm not going to go off, point by point. But these are some of the ideas that we have. We're not going to be able to go and boom, offer all this semester, but this is what the eventual goal is, that with more funding, more people, we're able to expand with these things. And also, we want you to actually want to do it. There's no point in sending you to something if you're kind of half-assing and like, that's whatever. We want these people that are in these workshops, we want them to be there. So that's what we're trying to put together for this semester, and we'll have more information once it's confirmed. I'm only sharing with you guys what we have absolutely confirmed in our presentation today. All right, that's the roadmap. That's the rough outline for what we're having this semester. If you'd like to take a picture of it, feel free to. It makes me feel important. If not, it's going to be posted to our Instagram anyways. Entirely up to you. But we have our, look, right there, February 4th. That's our first GBM. We're going to have our Learning to Fly. We call it Learn to Fly workshop. It's just kind of an intro to everything and getting you set up with what you need with what we can do. That's going to be this February 18th. Our next GBM is exactly 1 month from today. And, we'll talk about that when we get there. And then March 15th, we're thinking of doing a social at the Valiant Air Command Museum in Titusville. They're having this open cockpit day, so forgive me for not recalling where it is, because Josh is the Valiant Air Command expert. But he could tell you what types of planes it is. Do you remember, Gabby, what planes they had?
They have anywhere from a couple of warbirds to modern aviation, and a couple of helicopters here and there.
What about open cockpit day? Do you remember which ones are? Because they're actually going to open up the cockpit, and you can go up and see it sitting in it.
The Tomcat was getting opened.
Was it?
Maybe, I don't know.
I hope so.
I
Okay.
think you said the Bird Dog might be getting open as well, the L-19.
Okay. Whatever it is, airplane, cockpit, show up. Moral of the story. More stuff detailing with that. About 10 days after, a Warbird workshop. Gabby's going to tell you guys about that. That's going to be pretty interesting. So it's kind of like a Warbird themed month for Pegasus Pilots. And then right after that, we're going right into Sun and Fun, my favorite time of the year because I don't have a life apparently. So we're going to talk about Sun and Fun, and yeah, that's going to be a whole fun bit. We do have some particular announcements for us as a group that doesn't involve volunteering, but also involves you guys getting in for free and not having to pay for parking or ticketing or whatever it is you got to pay for the days that you volunteer. So we'll talk about that as well. What else is on there? Oh, politics. Election. So if you guys want to overthrow the government, now's your chance. Well, not quite now. April 8th is your chance. That's when we're having our election. So if anybody wants to run, you guys have been threatening to kick me off the board by outshining me. We'll see. We'll see who wins this election. So if you guys would like to, you can definitely do that. And April 15th, we'll see. It's April. Okay. So this is your part, Gabby. So if you want to try to awkwardly clip this on, doesn't have to be perfect.
I'm loud.
You're loud? Valid. So, oh, those are someone who is in this class.
Oh.
Yeah, they'll find them. They'll find them, hopefully.
AirPod Pros over here. So, I'm coming here on March 25th. I've got a buddy who's at Embry-Riddle for A&P school. However, he does a lot of experience on warbirds. I know he's been on a B-24, if I recall. I know for sure a B-29. He's a scanner on that. He also works around DC-3s, C-47s, etc. And he also started his own CAF wing in New Hampshire, if I believe. And they have a PT-23, and that's an old trainer used from World War II. And so he's going to come in here and talk about his experiences in A&P, his experiences around warbirds, because a big movement around the warbird, a big idea around the warbird movement is getting young people into it, because these are older airplanes with older gentlemen and women working on them, and we really need to have a younger population trying to get more into these things, because it is entirely possible. And I think that's something interesting, as well as with the VAC that Josh was talking about. We might be able to begin volunteering with them in their restoration efforts. So Nick will be here. He's an awesome guy. He's really funny, and he's incredibly knowledgeable. So hope you guys would like to come out and see that, because we would love, love, love to see you there and to get involved.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And it's a warbird, so why not? It's a warbird. Okay, so let's get back to the rest of our presentation. Thank you again, Gabby. So our logo, it's great. I'm saying that because I made it, but we have a nice logo, but we can always change it. We've had a couple thoughts and a couple discussions about what type of format we're going to follow for our logo and for everything in that realm. So what we're kind of agreeing upon is having every single year, that is academic school year, from fall through the spring, we'll have a different type of logo for the club or a different type of shirt design, something along those lines. And look, we're creative, but we're not that creative. So we like your help, please, because we're really not that creative. So we'll be opening up something later on to allow you guys to add stuff to it. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but Josh worked on this slide. I mean, you know. Does that surprise you? No. So that was Josh's slide. You can go to the next one. It's fine. We'll talk about the shirts and the patches. This is just elaborating a little bit more with what types of plans we were outlining for our shirts and patches. We're estimating roughly $10-ish for it. I know, Wesley, that Lance is the person, but do you have any other information beyond what's on here about the shirt company?
Really about specifically, but me and Lance both know someone locally who does shirts, and we're going to talk to him about making shirts for our club. Lance has worked with him before for other clubs he's involved in. I've never worked with him business-wise before, so I don't know that aspect of it. But we're gonna speak with him and get something planned for shirts coming out.
Yep, that's the idea with it. This shirt, the one I'm wearing right now, the one that Amit's also wearing, is actually from, it's your cousin, right? Amit's cousin in New York, who did something on the side, working with shirts. And here's the thing, we know that you guys are spending money on it. You guys are college students, money isn't infinite. Right? Money isn't infinite, yeah. Money isn't infinite, so when you're giving us your money, we want it to be fair, we want it to be worth it. So we wanted to make sure that these shirts are actually good quality. We identified a couple issues, we sorted them out, and that's how we've reached our decision. So we're always going to be upfront with you guys. And the whole, we'll make it right quote, look, if you're paying money to us, so we give you a shirt and something happens and it falls apart, I'm not going to be like a dick, like, oh, nope, come back next year. No, we'll work it out, we'll figure out a deal. I don't think it's fair if you're paying money to us and then, well, your shirt falls apart or something, which shouldn't happen, but just in case. That's the plan. These are some ideas. That's a better picture of Josh. He went to, what was it, Canada or something like that?
British Columbia or something.
Yeah, okay, he's Josh. So he went to British Columbia. I gotta admit, I mean, that was a good picture. We would have no hopes of doing that here in Florida. But that was a really good picture that Josh took of it. I also gotta say, it's absolutely infuriating when I see like other RSOs have like the remove before flight tags. I'm like, that's not your department. That's our job. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I see KXR do. I'm like, yeah, like Neil Armstrong leaned over the rocket and took the flight tag off before they went up. That's not how that worked. So that's truly our domain. Flight tags is our thing. And then there was a whole little patch that we came up with. A lot of people asked about the third time's charm thing. To make a somewhat long story short, basically what happened is, per our faculty advisor, back in the 90s, there was an organization at UCF that did something similar to what we did, and then that obviously fell apart or something happened. And then back in 2021, there was a similar organization. The guy left to USF, and Aviator Nights, which is what it was called, fell apart. So we are the third attempt at making this happen. And as the saying goes, third time's a charm. That's the saying we've been running with as a joke. If you guys want to change it or go with something else, I really don't care. But we can come up with some ideas like that. And that's the idea for patches, whatever. So yeah, that's that. That's just a screenshot to show you guys I'm not lying. I really do mean it. I really am texting someone who's real and not my imagination, who lives at the Daytona airport and works there, and he's trying to get a facility tour plugged in for us. We'll have to see what the deal is for making that work, because logistically, we'll just have to ride share and just like get over there. We'll figure something out as the time nears, and we'll figure out a way to get you guys over there. I also want to make sure it's not like in your way in your schedule on the weekend or something like that. So that's what we're looking at. So yeah, that's that. Sun and Fun. Here's the thing. So if you guys are going to go to Sun and Fun, I recommend you buy your tickets now, because the price is going to go up. You guys want to spend more money? You should be saying no, because you don't want to. So if you're going to go to Sun and Fun, buy your tickets now. Buy it while the tickets don't get too expensive. And if you go to the next slide, I got a couple things that we could talk about to make it a little bit better. And yes, it's good for us too. Okay, so last year, Sun and Fun, I went and I volunteered. You have benefits if you volunteer on your own. You don't have to pay for parking, because parking is separate. You're going to pay for your ticket, you just go in after you do your shift. They give you a way to get into the air show without coughing up the $40-something, $45 for going to Sun and Fun. So what we can also do to benefit us and kind of like make it a little bit more useful if you're going there is we can volunteer as a group. We can get, it says 15 people, that's 15 people per day. And if one person volunteers each, that's 30 people, really, because it's 15 for Saturday, 15 for Sunday. We got a lot of options. This seems like it's the best option for us, because when we do it, we get $500, which is great because we love money. And then there's also the option to select different types of shifts for volunteering. So there's the morning and then there's the afternoon shift. Here's the deal. If you go and do the morning shift, this is a little secret. That's why my hand's up here like this. If you do the morning shift and you go and do that from 06:30 to 1300, you can get into the air show for free. Because if you're doing the air show, if you're doing the volunteer shift later on in the day, you're going to feel really sad because all the air show stuff's going on and you're directing traffic. You're not going to be so happy. But if we do the morning one, you get into the air show early, you do your stuff, you don't got to pay money, and you just go into the air show as soon as it's done. Will you be tired? Yeah, but is it worth it? Oh, absolutely. That's what I did like for 3 days last Sun and Fun. So that was great. So there's some other details to give you food, air show parking, entry, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm hoping in the future this can also lead potentially to a partnership where we get a discount as an organization. So currently, if you're a part of, I think it's like AOPA or some other, they have a whole list of them. If you show them that when you buy your ticket, you get some money off, maybe we can do that, maybe not. Who knows? So that's that. Okay, Gabby, this is yours.
Okay, so for the grad souls, we had an idea here. Just a show of hands, how many guys are graduating seniors this semester?
1, 2, 3. All right.
Okay. Maybe 4. You know, if you look kind of in the middle.
For summer.
For the summer, yeah.
Thank you.
So we had this idea here to maybe create graduation stoles, and so those are the things that you wear when you graduate. You know, it looks cool. It's something that you're representing yourself, your dedication, and your hard work. However, as of current, it would be out of pocket. You'll see in the next slide
Boop.
what's going on. So we have options 1 and option 2. So option 1 here is $38. And I know it looks a little bit distorted, the color, but it is the same color as like a remover for flight tag. So the reason why this one is $38 as opposed to option 2 being $43, you can see here, excuse me, on the bottom of the screen, we just added a name and your graduating class. So if this is something that you would be interested in having, please reach out to the Instagram or just send us a message, an email or something, because this is something that we would like to have happen, but I understand that costs are also something that's important. But with that being said, I think that we will apply a deadline to when, if you are curious about this one, we can make that deadline happen, because if we order X amount over 1, we get a bulk discount. So I will update you guys on that if my 4 graduating seniors, if you guys are interested in that.
Cool.
But that's it.
Excellent. Okay, here's the favorite part. You guys giving us your money, because I know there's one reason why it came to us 6:30 on a Tuesday evening is to give us your hard-earned money. I know. So we're going to talk about our club dues, which we've been talking about forever and ever and ever, and talk about why we're finally doing it and what they're going to go towards. So here's what the overall plan is. For this semester, if you pay with the online thing that we're about to show you, you pay 21 bucks. The reason why is because there's a charging fee. If we charge 20 bucks, you get $19. We don't want to do that. We're already kind of operating at that margin, so we moved it up to 21 just to get by that processing fee. If you pay in cash, which you can do, we don't care, 20 bucks, that's that. Now, you'll notice that for the next semester, that is fall of 2025 and beyond, it's going to be roughly 20-ish per person. That could change depending on what we have to offer and what we can do for you, number one. If you're just a general tier member, we can call it that, right? Now you'll notice that there's a flight training tier that we've added. And the reason why is because, again, we have to be careful with what we announce and what we say, but there's a guy out of Orlando Executive who, he flies private jets for a living, and he follows us on the Instagram, Colombian pilot. You'll see him. He posts videos of flying the Gulfstream and the Falcon. Yeah, I know you see some of his stuff. I know. You know him, yeah. So, you with the connection. What is it with you always giving me connections randomly? We were at Bar Louie doing our social, and she's like, oh yeah, I have a friend who's training out of a place called JP Aviation. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. That's kind of, okay, I wonder who that is. So I basically got a hold of them. I talked to him. I talked to the owner. That's Jonathan Salazar, the guy that runs the place. And unlike the previous flight schools we have talked to about partnering with us to provide discounted training and offering ground school options to our members, he's willing to do something for that. So he's willing to give us something like $5 or $10 off per hour. That's what he told me verbally, no promises. This is just, I'm telling you what he's told me. I'm the messenger. $5 to $10 off an hour, which adds up. So if you're doing minimum of 40 hours of flight time, $5 off is $200 off your entire training, which can go to something else. What that is up to you. If we do $10 off, and that's 40 hours minimum of required training, $400 saved. And that's just trying to give you guys a bit of a mental roadmap for why, yeah, I know it's only $5 or only $10 an hour, but when you're flying, it adds up and your wallet's going to feel it. So that's what we're doing as far as that goes. He's also trying to get something for us where we're able to get the ground school on campus, because you guys have to go to the executive airport. This will be on campus, and he's going to try to get CFI candidates who are this close to getting their CFI check ride done in exchange for getting the practical experience of teaching stuff. We don't have to pay $60 an hour, however much it is, to have an actual CFI come over here and teach you guys that stuff. And then we can figure out the deal of getting you guys signed off for your written, which is the big part, the sign off, the endorsement, and take your written exam. We'll cross our bridge when we get there. So that's what the dues are going towards. That's the plan. Go to the next slide. Whoa, that's a QR code. Guys, you know what that means. So this is where the dues are going to be. So you can take a picture of it. You can do it right now. What's going to happen is when you click this, it's going to take you to a website. You put it in your credit card, whatever it is. It also has the explanation and the breakdown for what this will specifically go towards, because I think that's important, right? I mean, we're taxpayers, and I'm wondering where my money's going, So I want to make sure we're fair on that, and we're transparent with where the cash is going. So take a picture of that if you'd like to. That's where our dues are going to be. And I will mention that in the future, when it comes to certain things like getting to do your flight training, getting that discount off, remember, this money is going into it. So if you're not going to be a due-paying member when that time does come, that's what this all kind of boils down to. Okay, so I'm trying to make that clear. I think there's one more slide. Yeah, that's it. So that's our presentation for catching guys up to speed with us. Thank you guys for showing up.